Hello, welcome to Rah C Yoga. We're gonna do a quick 30-minute yoga flow here. That's gonna open up the hips a little bit, stretch out the legs, and of course, most important part, practice some breath work. So just like, as always, I want you to sit up nice and comfortable in your easy pose, leg crossed, or like I said, you can always just sit down on your knees, kind of flex and hang out on your toes a little bit, and just breathe here, in and out through your nose, nice and controlled. On the inhale, feel your body rise up, feel your lungs slowly expand. On the exhale, go ahead and let it all the way out. Really connect with that breath. Your hands can be down on your knees, your palms down for grounding you or up for receiving you. It really doesn't matter. It's whatever feels comfortable for you. Maybe close your eyes in the beginning so you can really connect with that breath. Nice. Once we're ready, we're going to go ahead and start putting some movement into that breath. So your next inhale, we're gonna bring both hands up overhead, let them touch. As you exhale, we're gonna keep this left hand up, bring the right hand down to the mat. We're gonna lean all the way over to our right side. If you can, maybe get this right elbow to come down to the mat, or you can just kind of hang out here. The whole point of it is just to breathe all through this left side of your body. Try to keep your left butt cheek, your sit bones still on the mat as you reach and get this nice arch all on the left side. Going about 4 or 5 breaths here. When you're ready, your next inhale, you can switch over to the opposite side. Bringing this right hand up to the sky, bringing this left hand down to the mat. Maybe getting this left elbow all the way down to the mat. Remember, keeping that right sit bone onto the mat as you breathe all through the right side of your body. Should have done about 3 breaths now. Let's try to get about 2 more. Perfect. When you're ready, just come back down to the center. Nice. As you exhale, we're going to bring our hands down to our knees again. Let's just really stretch out our necks, shaking our heads no, bringing your chin all the way over each shoulder. Getting that full extension here. Perfect. When you're ready, come back to the center. Neutral spine. Let's do some yeses next. Bringing our forehead all the way up to the sky. On the exhale, bringing our chin all the way down to our collarbone. Doing that about 2 or 3 more times. Getting that full neck stretch. And when you're ready, you're gonna meet me on all 4. So in your next inhale, when your hand comes up, let your hands come up with it. Look up at your hands in the skies, flex those fingers nice and wide. As you exhale, bring your hands down to the mat. You're gonna meet me on your tabletop pose. Nice. Really stretch out your fingers nice and wide. Shoulders are right above your hands, your palms, your hips are right above your knees here. Let's look forward for a second, and we're gonna take some cat-cow. So your next inhale, let your belly scoop down, let your shoulder blades, head, and tailbone all come up. Exhale, let's dome out your back, let your head and shoulders and tailbone all point down. Inhale, let's come to your cow pose. Exhale, let's come to our cat pose. We'll do this pose for 2 more times. Start coming to your cow pose before you start inhaling maybe, and start coming to your cat pose before you start exhaling. So really ride the breath. You should really get a great movement going. When you're ready, we're gonna come back to a neutral spine, a flat back. Usually I prefer to come to our neutral spine on our next inhale. Nice, this is breathe here. We're gonna go ahead and open our knees nice and wide, let our big toes touch, and let's come back into our child's pose. Reaching our arms nice and long to the top of the mat. Really let our torso melt down in between. Let's really make this one dynamic by digging our fingertips into the mat and flexing, bringing our palms up off the mat. So now you're breathing more underneath your armpits, into your obliques, into your rib cage here. Taking a couple breaths here, in and out the nose, nice control. Perfect. Going about 3 or 4 breaths here. When you're ready, you're gonna go ahead and bring your hands back closer to your body. You're gonna bring your knees a little bit closer in. Make sure your knees are about hip width apart. You're gonna go ahead and just stack your hips right on top of your knees, shoulders right on top of that. We'll take a small little back bend here. Let's bring your hands to your low back. Take a deep breath in, really extend yourself nice and high. And as you exhale, go ahead and let your head fall back. Taking a nice arch in your back here. Try to keep your hips still in line with your knees, but most importantly, even if you do have to let your hips come back, Try to make sure your rib cage is kind of lifted up as much as you can. Try to get that space going right here. Get that big stretch. Perfect. On your next exhale, let's come back forward, bringing your shoulders back up in line, a straight line. We're going to do another same back bend here. You have the option to bring your hands back to your lower back. Or if you can, roll to the balls of your feet to get your heels up as high as you can and reach back for your heels. Again, let your head fall back, come into your full camel pose here. Just breathing. And that nice arch, that nice stretch in your back. Perfect. One about 3 or 4, maybe even 5 breaths here. Whenever you're ready, your next inhale, you can release those heels. Ooh, bring yourself back forward. Bring your hands back down into the mat. Nice. When you're ready, on your next inhale, you want to go ahead and get solid into the mat. Both hands are solid into the mat. Right knee is solid into the mat. Let's flex this left foot out behind you. Let's leave it there. Take another deep breath in. And as you exhale, cross this left foot over the right. Tap the ground. As you inhale, let's come up from the center. Exhale down to the left. So we're taking little half circles here. Or little rainbows here. Alright, so in your inhale, you're going to come up to the center. Exhale. Bring it all the way to the side. Inhale up to the center. Exhale over to the side. So again, deep breath in, up to the center. Exhale over to the left. Next inhale, let's come back up to the center and bring that left knee down to meet the right knee. Perfect. Let's switch it out. On your next inhale, put that weight to that left knee. Let's get that right knee out behind you. Flex that right foot, toes are facing down. When you're ready, your next inhale, cross that left foot. Let that right foot touch the ground over here to the left side. On your inhale, come up through the center. Exhale over to the right. 2 more times. Inhale up through the center. Over to the left. Inhale up. Exhale right. Inhale up. Over to the left. This will be our last one to the right. So inhale up through the center. Make it count. Bring it all the way over to the right side. Touch that ground. Inhale back to the center. Nice. As you exhale, bring that right knee back to the mat. Let's take 2 more cat-cows and reset that breath. Perfect. When you're ready, you're going to meet me in your first downward facing dog. So in your next inhale, move your hands a little bit closer to the top of the mat. Roll to the balls of your feet. Let's get our knees off the mat and bring our hips up nice and high. Come to our first downward facing dog. Let's pedal out our feet a little bit. Really connecting to the pose, staying connected to our breath. Our arms are framing our ears. Our fingers are nice and spread apart. We're actively trying to bring our tricep down towards the mat. Get our shoulders away from our ears. And let's just breathe here. In and out, nice control. Perfect. On your next inhale, you're just going to lean forward, come into a plank pose. So now your shoulders are right above your hands. Your back is flat. Maybe you step back a little bit to really extend here. Let's breathe here. Take a deep breath in. This is our plank pose. We're going to go ahead and engage our core. And as we exhale, let's lower down chaturanga. So it's a yogi push-up, kicking our elbows into our rib cage. When you're ready, meet me all the way flat onto the mat. Whew, perfect. We're going to take some breaths to our bellies while we're here. So in your next inhale, bring your right hand out in front of you. As you exhale, bring that left foot up. Just take 3 breaths, breathing only into your belly here. You can feel that your breath's a little bit more complicated because your weight is on it. That's the whole point. Take 1 more deep breath in. As you exhale, you can switch it out. Bringing that right hand in, left foot down. Next inhale, bring that left hand out in front of you, that right foot up. Let's just breathe here, 3 breaths. Nice, perfect. When you're ready, bring that left hand down, bring your right foot down. You have options here to do all 4 this time. And really see if you can. Just try to breathe into that belly here. Or if you really want to get that deep stretch, go ahead and flex your feet behind you. Grab your ankles. Then your next inhale, kick into your hands to get your knees and your head and shoulder off the mat. And breathe here. This is our bow pose. Nice. Take your time here. When you're ready in your final exhale, you can go ahead and release your ankles and float yourself back down to the mat. Ooh, you can lay down one cheek if you need to reconnect your breath. Otherwise, let's come into our back bend, bringing our hands right on the outside of our chest. On your next inhale, let's take a cobra pose, keeping our arms bent, relaxing our shoulders away from our ears, keeping our knees, our pelvis, the tops of our feet onto the mat. Let's get a nice stretch in your lower back here. Take one more deep breath in. Exhale, maybe back down onto the mat. On your next inhale, let's switch it up and take our upward facing dog. This time we're going to stretch out our arms nice and long, straighten them out, press into the tops of our feet to get our knees and our pelvis off the mat. Again, relax your shoulders down. Take a deep breath in here. And as you exhale, meet me back in downward facing dog. Option to come to tabletop first, or just flip to the balls of your feet and meet me back in your downward facing dog pose. Breathe here, reconnect with that breath. In and out your nose, nice and controlled. Taking your time here. When you're ready, I want you to take that right hand and just reach for that left leg, that left calf, or that left ankle. And just breathe here, 2 breaths. Some nice arm work out there. Let's go ahead and bring that right arm back to the right side of the mat. Let's switch this left arm and grab this right calf. About 2 breaths. Awesome, you're ready to bring that left hand back over here. We're gonna take a soft bend in our legs. On your next exhale, on your next inhale, take your gaze up to the top of the mat and meet me at the top of the mat. Take one big step or a hop, whatever feels good to you. Bring your hands to shins, take a deep breath in, come into a half back here. As you exhale, come into your forward fold. Really let it all the way out. Take about 3 breaths here. Every exhale, try to come deeper into your forward fold. You can have a nice soft bend in your legs here. Maybe bend first, get as far deep into the pose as you can, then start actively trying to straighten out your legs. You don't have to straighten them out completely. Just give you a nice little stretch in your hamstrings. Perfect. When you're ready, make sure your feet are hip width apart. On your next inhale, you're gonna rise up to standing, vertebrae by vertebrae. Bring your arms up flat. Perfect. So you can stay facing the front of your mat or wherever you are in front of the camera. As you exhale, we're going to relax our hands down to our sides. Very good. On your next inhale, we're going to take a chair pose. I want you to squat down. Try to brush your tips of your fingers onto the mat as you bring your arms up nice and high. So you're sitting down kind of like you're in a chair. Look down and see if you can see your toes. If you can't, try to shift your knees a little bit further back. Maybe even try to engage your tailbone a little bit by tucking it under, squeezing your core a little bit more. Your arms are nice and wide like you're holding a ball, maybe at the bottom of the ball, because I want your triceps to come down, bring your shoulders away from your ears. Breathe here. I know it's starting to burn. Perfect. Take one more deep breath in. Exhale to straighten ourselves out. Whew, nice. You can shake it all out. See how you feel. When you're ready, we're gonna do it again. Next inhale, reaching your arms up nice and high. Exhale, let's bring our arms down to our sides, coming back into our chair pose. Deep breath in, bring those arms back up nice and high. This time I want to take a little simple twist with it. So as you exhale, on your next exhale, bring your hands to prayer, turn to the right side. See if you can even hook this left elbow into this right knee, pressing both hands to one another. Get deep into this twist here. Perfect. One about 3 or 4 breaths. Take your time. Go at your own speed. When you're ready, your next inhale, let's come up to the center. Look all the way. Exhale, let's do the opposite side. Hooking this right elbow into this left knee here. Taking your gaze over to the left side. Taking about 3 or 4 breaths. Perfect. Your next inhale, let's come back to the center. And we're going to come back to standing nice and slow. Bring your arms back up nice and high. Take a deep breath in. Look up at your thumbs. Exhale, forward fold. Leave the chest. Then only at the hips, coming all the way down to your gaze, to your belly button. Inhale, bring your hands to shins, come back to a flat back. Exhale, bring your hands down to the mat, step back, you're at the top of a plank. Take another deep breath in, look forward. This time as you exhale, lower down, chaturanga to keep your elbows into your rib cage. Just take a vinyasa here by flipping to the top of your feet. Inhaling, taking your back bend. Cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, moving back in your downward facing dog. That should feel good. Reconnect with your breath here. I always say breathe in and out through your nose. It feels good to you. Maybe take a deep breath in through your nose and then let it out through your mouth. Make some noise. If you really want to growl, you can do a lion's breath. Whatever feels good to you. Just really connect your breath here. That's the most important part. Perfect. When you're ready, we're going to bring our knees back down to the mat. So we're going to come into a tabletop pose, but really just prepare us for sitting down. So we're going to turn and just sit down. I want us to be sideways on our mat, open our legs nice and wide here. Now, take a deep breath in, bring your arms up nice and high. As you exhale, you bring this left arm underneath this right thigh. Let's lock it in. This right hand stays up nice and high. Take your gaze to this right hand, and as you exhale your next exhale, go ahead and start leaning towards this left knee, this left foot. Even reach for this left foot. Maybe you can touch it, maybe you can't. If you can't, go ahead and bring your hand to the back of your head here. Ooh, and breathe. Every exhale, imagine this shoulder, imagine this ear, imagine everything get closer to this left side. Going for about 4 breaths. You should be on your third or your second breath here. Once you get towards the end, maybe you can reach again for that foot. Maybe now you can touch it. Maybe not. In your next inhale, you can come back up to the center. Release this left hand underneath this thigh. Bring both hands up nice and high. Flip all the way. Exhale to the opposite side. Bring this right hand scooping underneath this left thigh. Take another deep breath. Reach this left hand nice and high into the sky. And as you exhale, start falling towards this right knee. Right shoulder to right knee. Right hand, left hand to right foot. If you can't touch the foot, again, go ahead and put that hands to the back of your head here and breathe. Every exhale, sink yourself a little bit closer. Perfect. Once you get towards those final breaths, maybe reach for that foot again just to check it out, see if you can touch it. If not, that's okay. When you're ready, you can slowly start bringing yourself back up nice and high. Perfect. I want you to bring the soles of your feet together when you're ready. Let them touch. You can go ahead and grab your feet here. Take a deep breath in and sit up nice and tall. As you exhale, you can slowly start falling forward. A nice little stretch while your legs are butterfly. Kind of grab your feet, almost pull yourself in a little bit. Again, as always, with every exhale, try to sink a little bit closer into the pose. Really try to get that stretch going, more active like. Perfect. Taking your time here on your next inhale, you can slowly start bringing yourself back up. Perfect. Let's bring our knees together when you're ready, and then we're just going to go ahead and turn sideways and sit. We're in our seated pose. We're going to roll our backs slowly into the mat. In your next inhale, we're going to come to our bridge pose. So we're going to have our feet about a half inch away from our sit bones, and we bring our hips up nice and high here. Let's roll onto our shoulders to get them really high up. And let's breathe. You have a couple options here. If you have a block, I kind of recommend maybe putting it in between your thighs to kind of really engage your lower abs while you're in your bridge pose. Or you just float here, nothing in between your thighs, and just keep your hips up as high as possible. If you want to make it a little bit more challenging, let's go ahead and switch to one-legged bridge poses here. So option here, put your weight to that left foot, bring that right foot high to the sky. Let's just breathe here. At least 2 or 3 breaths on each side. All right, so when you're ready, you can bring that right foot back down. Let's switch it out. Bring that left foot high to the sky. 2 or 3 breaths here. Alright, so you're ready, bring that left foot back down. Let's bring both hips back down. And Reconnect with our breath here, in and out through our nose, nice control. When you're ready, we're going to take another bridge pose. Or you have the option here to take a full wheel. Only take this if this is in your practice, if this is something you're familiar with. So again, you have the option to take another bridge pose here. Get those hips up nice and high, taking about 6 breaths. Or if you want to take your full wheel, let's bring your hands to the outsides of your ears. Have your fingertips face your shoulders. And your next inhale, when you get your hips up and high, you can press into your hands and get your shoulders and your head off the mat as well. And just breathe. Get a nice stretch in your back, stretch in your chest, and you're stretching your arms. Just a full body stretch here. When you're ready, you can lower yourself back down. Again, you have the option to just stay in your bridge pose here. You don't have to bring your head off the mat. But yeah, once you get back down to the mat, let's go ahead and bring our legs into our body and squeeze. Give ourselves a nice hug. Give ourselves some love. Maybe even rock it out a little bit. All right, so we're gonna keep our right knee hugged in and stretch out our left leg nice and long here. Keep that breath going. Do about 3 breaths on each side. When you're ready, you can bring that left knee in. Stretch out that right leg nice and long this time. Breathe in here. Perfect. When you're ready, you can release that left leg nice and long as well. Bring your arms up overhead and try to do a long stretch, reaching as far as you can overhead and reaching out your legs nice and long as well. Then when you're ready, we're gonna curl back in, come into our happy baby pose, bringing our knees into our armpits, grabbing the outside of our feet, and rocking left and right. Very good here. When you're ready, we're gonna bring those legs back together. We're gonna roll onto our shoulders if you can. This is another kind of intermediate pose, so take your time with it. If you can get onto your shoulders, go ahead and bring your hands to your low back, and then gently start bringing your legs overhead. Try to straighten out as much as you can. Try to squeeze your elbows closer to one another. Nice, coming to a shoulder stand. And just breathe here. You're resting onto your back of your head, your neck, your shoulders. Take one more deep breath in, and as you exhale, keeping your legs straight, just try to breathe, bring them over your head. Maybe even touch the ground behind you, if you can. If you can't, no problem. You can have a soft bend in your legs if you need to. In fact, take about 2 or 3 breaths here with your legs kind of as straight as you can, but eventually, let's really take a strong bend in our legs, bringing our knees to the outsides of our ears, coming to death man's pose. Take your deep breaths here, but pay attention. It's harder to breathe here because your lungs is kind of being trapped by some of your other organs. But try to send that breath to the far corners of your lungs as much as you can. Take your time. Eventually bring your legs back straight, back overhead, and breathe in here. These 2 breaths with your legs straight up in the air again. Then when you're ready, you can release your lower back and gently bring yourself back down to the mat. Nice. To counter that pose, I like to take a fish pose. So usually just bringing your elbows down to the mat. You can press into your heels here, maybe with your hips up nice and high. Breathing here, leaning back. That's about 1 or 2 breaths, and then you can bring yourself back down to the mat. Come into our resting pose, our meditative pose. Take your time here and really relax. Your hands down, your arms down, letting your shoulders melt to the mat, and your feet fall out whatever way comfortable. And just breathe. This is our Shavasana pose. This is your time to meditate. As I mentioned before, in our in-person classes, I like to put the little essential oils into the palm so you can breathe in the aroma. Kind of helps with aromatherapy. But you can also just light a candle or light an incense, whatever feels good to you. Taking your time here, really letting your mind rest. out the long, deep breaths we've been taking all class. It's whatever feels good to you. All right, so you have the option to go ahead and just stay here as long as you want, or you can go ahead and hop back up and end today's 30-minute session of Rah C Yoga. It's up to you. I hope this feels good. I hope it was a nice quick little recharge for you. You shouldn't just pop up like I did, honestly. I should probably tell you you should probably take your time and roll into a side fetal position and gently push yourself up, but whatever feels good to you. Thanks again for joining. I like to bring gratitude into our space at the end of every class, and thank you. Namaste.